For breaking news, go to iDiskiTimes.co.za.
Shapunjan bafowethu igama lami Lindo Pep, the best analyst in the country. Please don't forget to subscribe to iDiskiTV. Tanko.
This is Bongane Benedict Villagazi, they call me so. Niazi bafowethu, Amakosi for life, they are back in winning ways. Please, siyacela ukuthi subscribe iDiskiTV.
iDiskiTV powered by World Sports Betting and iDiskiTimes.co.za. It's Orlando Pirates beating Golden Arrows at the Moses Mabhida Stadium. It's a dress rehearsal for the final of the Nedbank Cup. Just a warm-up, just to see if the systems and the gears and everything else is working. And it seems that everything else is working. Very dodgy, sketchy first half for Orlando Pirates, which is to say that Golden Arrows won the first half, with the exception of scoring a goal. In the second half, with the team talk, Orlando Pirates come back, Golden Arrows dropping a level. At some point, it was 1-1, Orlando Pirates winning the game. Pep Guardiola, what did you make of the game, sir?
Gunjan Mr. Nkeu.
Yes, sir.
Ngulisi chairman, technical director.
You're a television star. You're a TV star now.
No, it's all thanks to iDiskiTV, man.
No, it's all thanks to yourself. You have to wake up in the morning, wash your own face, and apply yourself.
Yeah, no, but without this platform, these opportunities don't come.
Trust me, they would have come. I guarantee you. Me, I was always going to be successful, whatever I was going to do. You, all of these guys, Junior, Bobo, we are all going to be successful one way or the other. Even if I was successful as a construction worker, I was going to be successful one way or another.
But you must show the gratification, Mr. You must show that you're grateful.
The biggest problem that this city has, Johannesburg, I'm from Cape Town, so I come from extreme humility and decency. The biggest problem is people thinking that they can make people. One way or another, you were going to be someone. Even if you are a star for Pirates or Chiefs, and you are playing. It's just that moment that you are Max Maponyane for Chiefs or Pirates. But eventually Max Maponyane graduates and becomes one of the finest broadcasters we've seen. So one way or the other, that kind of a guy was always going to be a very successful person. So even you, with or without this, you were always going to be successful one way or another. So we don't make people with these platforms. Yes, of course, in exchange for your labor, you get paid for this. But at the end of the day, you were always going to be you. Your articulation, yourself, whatever the decisions that you make, all your good karmas and the people that you treated right, being at the right place at the right time, teaching yourself football, you were always going to be in those places. But anyways, what did you make of the game, sir?
Thank you very much, Mr. Nkeu. Mr. Nkeu, it's very important for me to mention that Jose Rivero is a very, very brave coach. And in terms of that, for me, he makes, I think, about 7 changes. I think there's only 4 players.
Is it bravery or practicality?
I think it's bravery, Nkulego.
Well, at the fact that there's a game on the weekend. It's a final. So is it being brave or is it being pragmatic?
He's being brave. He's being brave because if it works, he's called a genius. Like he'd work today. If it doesn't work,
they're not going to hit him.
Catch you. Yes.
No, they're not going to hit him because they're going to say, "Oh, we have a final, so we can't risk some of the players."
I think mathematically, the fans, to be specific, even the players, I think they still want the league. I think they would want to push Mamelodi Sundowns all the way. And not only that, I think it's important for Orlando Pirates to reduce those points, that points deficit, because it can't be a double figure again. I think it needs to be a 6-pointer to give them confidence to build from next season. So it's not only just about winning the league. So it's important to mention that there's a couple of DDC players that get an opportunity. I think this season we've seen a Mohang Kota, we've seen a Relay establishing himself, we've seen a Mbokazi, we've seen a Sesane, who was almost a contender of the defender of the season. Manje sesibona uBenten uSilepe, who comes in for Makaula, plays an important second half. We've seen a couple of players. We've seen
Madiba struggled in the first half.
Struggled in the first half, but second half much better. You look at the structure of the Orlando Pirates. I think he was confused more of the striker, because if you check it personally, Orlando Pirates they both are taking fullbacks, and Makaula always has a responsibility of sitting next to those back 4. But they played with 2 attacking midfielders today. So it's Radio Pane also as well. We are forgetting him, gets an opportunity. I think Golden Arrows started very well, more especially in the first 2 minutes of the game. They create the goal scoring opportunities, but opportunities that they get are based on a transition, a counter press. 2 things that were very essential to Golden Arrows is the counter press, is the transition. That's where they create the opportunities. But also nama pressing traps, they allowed Mbokazi to have the ball in the build-up process. Why? Because he can always pick a pass from Tipu when he's playing as an 8. Uchoki, he has got this very same quality, but he lacks in terms of his short passing. So every time there's a pressing trap, which means it's very good from the number 41, Uzwane, very good from Usbia, very good from Umtanti, because Umtanti was very dynamic on the right-hand side. This is what I don't like about Golden Arrows midfielder, whether Abu Van Rooyen, whether Abu Mtati. Now, Usbisa, even though I like him as a footballer, end product is important. You can do yonke into a right in between the boxes, but the final decision, the final pass always has to be right. You need to score because there's so many opportunities that they created. Even the opportunity that Ulentuza, goalkeeper Poma, because there's a goalkeeping error in the 14 minutes. Buteleza Poma kone boxing mistake. He makes an error. Golden Arrows should have capitalized that. You look at the first half.
That was a difficult. I think Umtati did the right thing. He chips it. There's like 4 players were standing inside inside on the line. So the chip, I think, was a good decision. They were really unfortunate, but they bossed the first half.
Yeah, they really bossed the first half, and I'm really surprised them going on a pound to pound. But this is what Golden Arrows normally do. I'm really surprised by the performances that the boy in midfield, Ndwandwe. Ndwandwe, every time when they play against other teams, you don't see them. But today, by Paza, Mtati, by Paza, Namhlanje. I don't know whether they are looking for contract with the Orlando Pirates. I do not understand why are they 13th on the log. I do not understand why we don't see these consistent performances, because you can see they look like prime Barcelona. There was a period in the game where Badlala Kona 10, 5, 15 passes up until in the second half where the coach Akipuma Kaola, I think he's saving him for weekend Ufagale Ntwanu Pen 10. But now there's a pass that happens there, Ukabelo Dlamini in the second half, which is a special pass. It releases Utito on a 1v1 situation. But also I will have to speak Mbokazi before I get into the goals. There's an action there in the game that I really like, and it tells you about the mentality, the attitude of the boy Nkulego. The boy gets injured. I think it's the 31st minute. The boy gets injured. He goes outside. Immediately after that, Nkulego, he realizes that the boy is concentrated. Concentration in football is very important. Communication in football is very important. Be aware of your surrounding. He realizes that Umakaulu Mkavele, he immediately goes into midfield. He supports that pass, he turns, he plays a progressive pass. Something that even Nomakaula Knight doesn't have, that's why the boy has been playing with Pirates.
He can play in the midfield.
He can play. He's a baller.
At some point, he can play in the midfield. It could be just a matter of mastering that art, because every position is an art form and you have to master it by playing for 2, 3, 4, 5 years. He can play in the midfield and he can even be one of the best midfielders. The shots that he took were on target. Every time he went forward, drove forward with the ball, he found his man in front of him, and some of the shots, maybe 1 or 2 of the shots, were on target, vicious shots. He can play, he can be the kind of midfielder that we want in this country.
Yeah, Nkulego, I think he's a future captain in Orlando Pirates. I think the boy, whoever that developed him, I know that he came up, credit to every coach that developed the boy, because you've not only developed the technical ability, the mental profile as well, the psychological profile. I like the energy of the boy. Mfano is strong as well. He doesn't allow to be bullied. But it's also important to emphasize those 2 midfielders that were playing there. Udlamini no Tito Nkulego, they struggled in the first half. They struggled too, because Bebamaka zonal. They did not go man for man. And Abondwande, they would pick those pockets. But in the second half, I think they were very smart by adding to create that box so that they can have a numerical advantage in that midfield. I think that's when they got the scruff of the game. When now they started having an extra player. Because you check that goal, it comes from midfield. They started dropping Udlamini a little bit deeper. And then now, line, because they realized, we spoke about it first half, the line of Golden Arrows was high. I think Jorge Rivero, that's exactly what he did with his analyst. I think the good thing that they did is to identify where the space is. The space was behind the defensive Golden Arrows. That's how the second goal comes. But now SuperSport lets us down in that action. Golden Arrows, we only see Paula Celia wide and they punish, right? But what's interesting with the Orlando Pirates' second goal is very brilliant for me. It's a wishy-washy. A ball goes into the box. Umabasa Nkulego, he doesn't even look at the goal. The ball will move. And you know what I like in that action, Nkulego? Immediately after the ball left his foot, he knew it's a goal. He did not look at the goal. He looked at the linesman to ensure that he's offside. Immediately when he saw that, he went on to celebrate. Technical ability, precision, being at the right time, top striker, clinical finishing. You're talking about the previous top goal scorer of last season, Tsukofatso Mabasa, a box striker, and this is what happened in the start of the season. He was so under pressure with the injury, Zakes, because he was the only box striker. Orlando Pirates, they had 4 strikers. We spoke about it. We were sitting here. We were profiling all those strikers. We said Umahopa is more of an out and out. Radio Pane can do a little bit both. Zakes is probably the striker that they invested in. That's why he was important even in their preseason in Spain. He gets an injury. Now all that responsibility goes on Umabasa. That's why his story is important, more especially with them winning the MTN 8. He goes on to the season, he scores important goals for Orlando Pirates, even now in games of consequence. But now, going back to the technical team of Orlando Pirates, this speaks about preparation now. Ndlondlo, Quimvidi, all of those players that are playing, about Rasabocha, Radio Pane, the coach was supposed to prepare them in the first half of the season, because every big club, you need these players. Now these players start becoming important because now you're playing games of consequence. And now when you're playing games of consequence, that's where you need Aboma Kaola, Bomba, Abo Tito to not play every game that doesn't matter. Like this, I'm not saying this doesn't matter, but they're playing finals. They're playing CAF Champions League final. Now we need to share reload. And I think that's where they got the mistake for me. They used their players even when they were not supposed to use them. And manje baba in the business end of the season. And you have with more game time, I think they would have helped the Pirates. I'm checking Nkuleko. I think he was one of the best players on the pitch for me, Quimvidi. Very energetic. He was trying things, Nkuleko. He was making mistakes. I like a player that tries and make a mistake. You can see he can play double positions. He can play as a winger. He can play as a number 10. Just give him the game time, give him the confidence, give him the trust as a coach. Ndlondle as well. I felt that yes, maybe Ndlondle didn't play the whole of the season, but it was going to help them. Rasabocha as well, because you look at the fact that now they have to make difficult decisions. And for me, those difficult decisions, they made them drop points in crucial games. And for me, when you look at the Orlando Pirates team, it's going to be very difficult for the next coach to come in. Because any coach that comes in, he's got expectations to reach the CAF semi-final of the CAF Champions League. He's under pressure to reach 6 finals, win 5 trophies. He's under pressure to always consistently be number 2 on the log. I think what Jorge Rivero has done in the last 3 years is exceptional. To see these young players playing for Orlando Pirates, giving themselves their all for this big brand is huge. And that says kudos to the technical team, kudos to Jorge Rivero, and a big win again today.
All right, there you go. Thank you very much to Lindo Pep. That was Orlando Pirates against Golden Arrows at home against Orlando Pirates. It's a dress rehearsal for Orlando Pirates at that same stadium, same city for a cup final, which they will play against their biggest nemesis, their firstborn son, the Kaizer Chiefs. iDiskiTV, iDiski Times, or sports betting. For breaking news, go to iDiskiTimes.co.za.
Shapunjan bafowethu igama lami Lindo Pep, the best analyst in the country. Please don't forget to subscribe to iDiskiTV. Tanko.
This is Bongane Benedict Vilakazi, they call me so. Niyazi bafethu, amakhosi for life, they are back in winning ways. Please, siyacela ukuthi subscribe iDiskiTV.